Today's modern lockdown system used in America's maximum security prisons ironically reflects the earliest principles in penal history. John Greschner arrived at Marion in 1976, before lockdown started. He is serving a life sentence for first-degree murder.
I've been a robber, I've been a drug dealer, I've been in shootouts, and I've been convicted of killing at least one person. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna live my life on my terms. And these environments are jungles, man. However you characterize them, however you wanna look at them, they're jungles, man.
Until the late 70s, the Bureau of Prisons put prisons in 5 categories. From Category 1, the least secure, to Category 5, the most secure. In 1978, Marion became the first Category 6 prison in America, in which all the most dangerous prisoners would be locked up. The theory was that concentrating the most unmanageable inmates in one place would take pressure off other prisons in the system. Bo Hardin worked as a correctional officer at Marion for 22 years. He remembers the days before 1978, when Marion had mainly operated as an institution for young offenders.
Mostly young inmates, first-time bank robbers, that kind of thing. Serious problems you didn't have. You had fist fights and arguments and fights over ball games. Changed, and they made it maximum security. They contracted them to us, and we handled them. We kind of threw all the rotten apples in one big basket, and that's when the trouble started.
The transformation of the prison in 1978 into a maximum security environment was a groundbreaking decision. Authorities called the prison a Supermax, but it was very different to the Supermax of today. The Supermax of the 70s was a singular place where most inmates were allowed relative freedom to move around and to associate. But around the prison lay a security system fitting for America's most dangerous criminals. Dennis Kimmel arrived 5 years after Marion had been established as a Supermax in the spring of 1983, just months before the correctional officers were murdered. He was transferred here for assaulting an inmate in another prison, where he had been serving 25 years for bank robbery.
The first thing I recall is all of the razor wire and all of the staff outside with guns and other staff at the door to meet everybody. And I looked down the long row of razor wire, and geez, it was razor wire here, up this side of the inside of the fence and up this side of the other fence. And then I saw the ground sensors, and I said, oh yeah, this is a real nice place here.
John Greschner had been transferred to Marion from Minnesota State Prison in 1976 because the authorities felt that he was too dangerous to control in a normal prison.
When I arrived at Marion, it was approximately 1:30 in the morning with all these escorts, state police escorts and all that. It's in the dead of winter.
Marion was based around 2 main corridors radiating from a control center. All units on the east corridor were open, which meant the inmates could spend up to 10 hours out of their cells each day. But on the north corridor, there was 1 unit, each unit, in which the most disruptive inmates could be locked in their cells for up to 23 hours a day.
They walked me in and they did a digital rectal exam. They got a PA working there. His little technique was, instead of just probing for contraband, he hooks his finger and digs in your colon trying to make you holler. But I ain't gonna make a sound. You can rip my guts out, I'm not saying nothing. They pulled a lot of stuff out of my rectum. They pulled it out of my mouth. They pulled handcuff keys, narcotics, files, stuff like that out of my rectum. They pulled a hacksaw blade out of my nose. They pulled handcuff keys, stuff like that out of my mouth.
Ron Crowder was transferred to Marion from a federal prison in 1982. He was transferred to Marion for the gang-related murder of another inmate. He had been serving a sentence for manslaughter He now faced a life sentence at Marion for first-degree murder.
Well, I caught a murder case back in '82. A guy had disrespected us, and we had to take care of what we had to take care of, and that was it. Oh, I killed him. I mean, it's no question. I took him out, and they gave me life, gave me natural life, and 10 years for the knife, you know. I took him out, you know, had to. It was a must.